It's time for the 32081 Scoreboard Show. Let's recap the latest weekly scores and highlights from around the county.
And thank you for listening to the 32081. I'm the Todd, and I'm going to kick this show off because I know he's fired up and ready to talk with Kuda Mike. Kuda Mike, how you doing? Don't answer that question. Don't even answer that question.
All right.
Because I got to ask you what's going on. I know we've kind of talked off the air, set the scene, but I want everyone out there to know what was going on Friday night because I'm texting with you. I'm getting scores and updates. And I'm like, okay, it looks like Beachside is going to wrap up this whole district thing because this was really the last hurdle, right, before claiming the district, even though you got to make up the game of Fleming Island. I text you afterwards, and things just changed. So you go ahead and say what happened because I was utterly shocked by the outcome of this game.
Yeah, we were too, like the Jaguars today too. So it was 20-15 at halftime. We scored on our first three possessions. We had some special teams pickups in the first half. In the second half, Owen that's going to Tulsa, he got laid out by one of the Middleburg players on the field goal that tied up the game. Took a nasty shot. That kind of hurt our special teams late in the game. We were moving the ball all game long. Defense, we struggled. We struggled on defense. And then we lost it. We lost it in overtime. We had our chances to win, and we lost it.
Now this is also going to be interesting because you still have the district game with Fleming Island to make up, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. We got two more district games left. We got Orange Park this Friday at Orange Park. And then the last game of the season is moving to November 4th. We play at home against Fleming Island.
So these next couple of weeks for your district are going to be very interesting and very eye-opening because this loss to Middleburg just kind of shuffled a bunch of stuff around.
Correct. We beat Ponte Vedra. Ponte Vedra beat Middleburg, and Middleburg beat us. So we're all going to be fighting for the district title. Middleburg has to play Fleming Island, so do we. I think Ponte Vedra has finished up their.
They did. They're 3-1.
They're 3-1. They're 3-1. They're sitting in, see how we are doing to figure out who's going to be district champs.
Wow. And do you think they're going to take 2 or 3 from your district?
Last year they took 4.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see how the power ratings shake out. If we're all tied, it would seem they would at least take 3. Maybe they might take 4 again. We'll see how it is. Mainland's better this year. The 2 teams from Tallahassee. Last year they only had 1 team from Tallahassee came out of that group. So we'll see what happens as the season goes on. We have a rough road. We have Orange Park, Nease, then Fleming Island.
Yeah.
So
at least you're wrapping up at home against Fleming Island. At least that's one positive thing out of this flip-flop schedule.
Yeah. We're supposed to have
It's just a shortened week, though, correct? I mean, because you're going to be turning around after Nease and playing them in 5 days, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. We play. Everybody's moving to October 30th because of Halloween.
Right.
And then we play them on Tuesday.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a quick turnaround. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck against Orange Park this coming week with kickoff at 7 o'clock at Orange Park. So.
Yes. Hey, I got a question. I was surprised that the Nease score was so low. I thought you guys would.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Yeah. It finished 29-0. There was 4 interceptions. And really it was, we just cannot get the passing game going. Defense played phenomenal, lights out. I don't think you're surprised by that with how the defense has been playing. Wow. Sloan Davis had a fumble recovery for a 50-yard touchdown. Of course, Crew Casey, Kyle Hurtado, Jacob Curry, and Noah Hodge all had great nights at linebacker. But like I said, that really, they got the shutout. But aside from like a nice little screen pass to Enrique and a couple other little passes, offense struggled a little bit, Mike. So, but we'll see what goes on. We're going to take on Tocoi this week and then wrap up with you guys at the Den.
I know that's going to be a battle in 2 weeks when we play you guys. Our offense versus your defense, and then your offense versus our defense.
I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle that night. I guess it's your senior night, so it's going to go back and forth.
Yep, you're right. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a senior night because, like we say, with all the St. Johns County schools, it's like, all the friends are out there. They've been playing together with Pop Warner since they were 8 years old, so it's going to be a fun night for everybody.
Yeah, should be. Should be.
Well, listen, Mike, appreciate you joining us. Actually, and before I let you go, we're going to jump on over because I actually had an interview with Kyle Hurtado. Speaking of that, thanks for asking me about Nease. So it's a perfect segue. We'll bring Kyle in here and have a little discussion with him. But thanks for joining us.
All righty. You have a great week. Thanks again.
And now joining us on the podcast, a member of one of the best linebacker corps, I think, in the state, number 8 from Nease, Kyle Hurtado. Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. And like I said, I really think that you, Noah Hodge, Jacob Curry, and Crew Casey make up probably what I consider the best linebacking corps in the state. I really believe that. If not Northeast Florida, the entire state. So what I want to ask you, Kyle, is how do the four of you stay in sync on the field? Because it seems to me when I watch you guys, the tackles, the sacks, it comes from all of you. It's just not one player busting through. It's like you guys really work as a unit. I'm just kind of curious, how close are you guys on the field and how do you stay in sync?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. Like, without a doubt, I think we are the best linebacker corps in the state of Florida, and that comes a lot with how close we are. And then that is a lot to do with the coaches, because we watch film every single day. And we are, like, really close. And then part of that is, our accountability, our communication, and our trust. And that's to do a lot with, like, how close we are. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about accountability. And, like, we watch the formation, the different shifts, and that's just, like, cues on, like, what we know is about to happen before the play snapped. And then, like I said, that's just like having each other's backs, knowing that, like, the D-line has their own gap. And then, like, if I miss a tackle, I know Noah or Jacob or Crew or whatever will make the tackle for me. And that's just, like, part of that team chemistry that keeps us really close and really good.
So, Kyle, the other thing I want to ask you about is your 2026 class was, in my opinion, really the last class that went through the Nease program where they said, hey, all freshmen are going to play together no matter what on the freshman team. And then some of them moved up at the end of the season. But I really liked how that freshman class got so close. I mean, it was like that kind of just helped you guys solidify everything. And I'm just kind of wondering, when you look back on those first freshman games and then all the way through your senior year, playing together that early, that together, being, on the same team, has that also helped you not just with the linebacking core, but with the team in general?
Oh, yeah, that 100% helps because, for example, Atlantic Coast game, I made a big tackle for loss, and then I go on the sideline, now my teammates cheering for me. And then that feeling is just, like, one of the best feelings, knowing that, like, your teammates are happy for you, knowing you made a play. And then, like, for example, Derek, he always says something to me before the game that get me hyped up or get me motivated, and that, like, really helps, knowing that your teammates are there for you no matter what.
I covered this earlier in the week, and what I think is an injustice to Coach Garth. From a player's perspective, can you tell me what Coach Garth has meant to you as a defensive player and to the team as a whole?
Yeah, of course. So, obviously, Coach Garth is the defensive coordinator, but for us as a defense, he's more than just a defensive coordinator. He's like our mentor, basically. He teaches us discipline, and he motivates us all the way through the game. He keeps us to, like, understand the game on a deeper level, if that makes sense. He's, like, really, like, the backbone of our mindset, and, like, we take a lot of, like, what we learn from his teachings and use that on the field. And that's been shown week in and week out. Like, we have back-to-back 0-point games versus Bartram and Atlantic Coast. And I think next week, it's also, it's the standard to get 0 points from the other team. It shows how much we love Coach Garth and we appreciate him. And we just show that on the field through how hard we play.
Well, number 8, I got to thank you, Kyle, for stopping by, talking to us. And I want to wish you the best of luck as you wrap up the season against Tocoi and Beachside and then roll into the playoffs. The defense is looking great. You're flying all over the place. You're fun to watch on Friday night. I can't wait to watch you on Saturdays.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, that wraps stuff up with Beachside, which has a lot of impact on the Sharks of Ponte Vedra. So who else to join us right now but Josh and James? JJ, how you doing today?
Doing great, Todd. How are you doing?
Well, I assume you're doing great after a 53-0 win. I mean, geez, homecoming. I mean, what more can you ask for, right? I mean, geez Louise.
It was actually unbelievable to see. I mean, the Sharks have turned it up, after starting off a little slow with a couple of losses this year. To see the turnaround in the last few games where everything's clicking is just blown my mind. I mean, you said it, 53-0. It was 40-0 at halftime, running clock in the second half. I mean, it was unbelievable. The offense, 8 touchdowns scored, season high. 307 passing yards in total, 179 yards on the ground. I mean,
that's insane.
They were clicking. I mean,
what was the atmosphere like during this game? What was the atmosphere like with the stadium? I got to think that the fans were just dying to see this type of performance.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I mean, just like you said, it was homecoming. Everyone was there. Parents were in the stands. Just the student section showed up. It's Friday Night Lights. It's everything that
Took you
every
3
high
hours to
school.
get out of the parking lot at Ponte Vedra.
Absolutely, it's always a bear to get out. But let me tell you, well worth it when you see your home team perform like that.
So it really seemed, and I was texting all of you guys on Friday night because everything was just blowing up around the football scene. But the one thing is it seems what's really scary for teams coming up against Ponte Vedra, and you kind of look back and go, what could have been, right? This defense, you want to talk about getting better and better. It just seems like they're playing lights out. And if you want to say getting better and better, I'm like, they're hitting their stride at the right point, JJ.
Yeah, you almost wish that, the Nease game was at the end of the season. It just, everything's finally come together for Ponte Vedra, and they're hitting on all cylinders. I mean, 5 turnovers. I believe it was 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, setting up, that's additional opportunities for the offense to get out there and score some points. And so that defense is just unbelievable. First shutout of the season, I believe. And, things are clicking.
Let me ask you the last question I have before we talk about the district race and what's going on over there. With the defense clicking, and I know this is purely subjective on your part, but with the defense clicking now and getting so much better, are you starting to see the offense start to feel a bit more relaxed, a little bit more poised, that they don't have all the weight on their shoulders now? And I don't want to say they did before, but it seemed like they did. But now with the defense forcing turnovers and giving short field, are you seeing that the offense is more positive now, that they're, I don't want to say swagger, but they have a little bit more confidence and they're able to do what they need to do?
Yeah, I mean, look, when the defense steps up to the plate, it does relax the offense because, again, I said it earlier, you have additional opportunities to score. I mean, one thing, by the way, I mean, we talk about leadership on the team. One guy I failed to mention consistently is Finn Day. I believe now he's 1 interception away from the school record for his career. So I think he had one last night.
He tied it, right? He tied the school record, didn't he?
Yeah, he tied it. That's right. So if he gets one more, he'll set the Ponte Vedra record. And back to that offense. Yes, they're relaxed. The offensive line has come together, opening up big holes. I mean, Alex Winkles is tearing through there. I mean, I believe he had 124 total yards with screen passes coming out of the backfield, running the ball up the middle. I mean, it's everything is working right now, and it's great to see.
Now, what's crazy about it, and we were going to talk about the district thing going on, is that, here's Ponte Vedra. They're sitting at 3-1 in the district. They're done with district play. And you think, okay, 3-1, they should be in, right? Nope, that's not the case. Because like I was texting with Coach Price trying to figure out what was happening. Because the big thing, as we talked about, was the Beachside loss that we just talked about with Kuda Mike. And now Ponte Vedra pretty much has to sit and wait because now they've got to figure out what happens with the Middleburg-Fleming Island game. What happens with the Fleming Island Beachside game that's got to be made up. So now it's a sit and wait game to see what happens in regards to the district race.
Yeah, and you know what? Everyone just has to do their jobs, right? I mean, it's sit and wait, continue to win, continue to improve. There's a good chance, no matter how this transpires, Ponte Vedra's getting in. They're a highly ranked team. The rankings do like them. Some significant wins here late in the season, and it's all about just that district championship, whether it's first place, second place, third place, who knows. I don't understand all the math and what goes into it, but I think Ponte Vedra set themselves up pretty well here late in the season to have a shot to getting in the playoffs. It's just, do you host the home game? Where are you seated? Those are the questions that are unanswered at this point.
Well, I tell you, this Friday is going to be interesting too, with IMG Academy coming to the tank. Of course, we know that the Sharks traveled down to IMG last year and came away with a victory. So I'm sure IMG is going to be looking for a little bit of retribution, so to speak. But I think this defense is, like I said, clicking at the right time, and I think they're going to give IMG a fit when they come up here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch that one, just because all those student athletes that go to IMG are the best of the best throughout the entire country, and coming in here, to the tank and seeing what happens there, it's going to be fun to watch. It's just that competition going back and forth.
All right, JJ. Well, thanks a lot. And you're going to have a fun one to watch, like I said, with the IMG coming to town. So thank you again for your coverage, and we will talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Get ready to huddle up. It's time for Making the Call with Abigail on the Scoreboard Show.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Let's kick it off.
Welcome back to Making the Call with Abigail. The NFHS has new rules in 2026 pertaining to mouthpieces. Can you explain the requirements around mouthpieces today and what we can expect in 2026?
Absolutely. Be happy to. So today, there are no new rules on mouthpieces based on, compared to previous years. So the rules today on mouthpieces are you must have one and only one. Player comes on with no mouthpiece, then they're coming back off the field. They're not going to play for a down, and they cannot be brought back with a timeout. They cannot play that down. They will have to sit out one full snap until they can play again. If a player comes on the field with more than one mouthpiece, so they'll have, one in their mouth and another stuck somewhere on their helmet, that is also illegal, and that player would be coming off the field and not playing for one full down and not able to be brought back in with a timeout. Mouthguards also have certain specifications that they have to adhere to. They have to cover all teeth. They have to be of an adequate thickness. They have to include an occlusal and labial portion. So there's various rules that mouthguards currently have to abide by. So one good example is if you have a molded Invisalign type retainer, that is not a legal mouthpiece. That is not allowed. You can wear that, but you also still have to have a sports mouthguard in addition to your Invisalign type retainer. So starting next year, there's additional rules starting in 2026. The mouthguard cannot include any attachments that do not serve a purpose or function in protecting the teeth. And it must not include anything on it that is a health or risk issue and can pose a danger to themselves or other players. So an example of the attachment would be the mouth guards that look like a pacifier, have that little ring hanging off to look like a pacifier. Starting next year, those are illegal, and they will be, that player will be removed from the game until they have a legal mouthpiece. An example of an attachment that would pose a health risk would be there's mouth guards out there that have spikes on them. Some are soft foam, some are harder foam. Any of those would be illegal because those are an attachment that could theoretically be argued to be a health risk. You may ask, what about those mouth guards that have the teeth either painted on or, like 3D teeth on them that are relatively flush? Well, that would be covered under uniform adornments, which are legal in a different rule. So uniform adornments would be anything basically not serving a purpose and is just a uniform adornment. So essentially starting next year, mouth guards must be plain mouth guards that you can have the piece that covers over the lips as long as they don't have any attachments, adornments, or anything that would pose a health risk of any kind. Other examples of adornments that people don't realize are the eye black under the eyes. We see it all the time. Players will come out with either a cross on their cheek or their entire cheek spread with eye black, or they'll have those eye black pieces with writing on them. All of those are illegal. The rule in the rule book on eye black is it must be a single finger width, a stroke of eye black with no words, writing, or anything adorning it of any kind. So we see illegal eye black all the time on the field. And my policy or my procedure on that is I usually just warn the player that they have to remove it before the next time they come on the field, and to educate them that they can't wear that on future games, especially once they get into the playoffs. So starting next year, new rules on mouth guards, no adornments, no pacifiers, no teeth, no fake teeth on the outside, and no spikes or anything else that would be a health risk or deemed to be an adornment.
Thanks, Rob, and thanks for listening, and make sure you tune in next week for Making the Call with Abigail.
And now I'm lucky enough to introduce to you the wide receiver from the Tocoi Toros that's joining us here on the podcast, Mr. Bryton Baker. How you doing today, Bryton?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So here's the thing I want to ask you, first of all. You look at this stat line and you say, okay, a quarterback has thrown 7 touchdowns to 5 different receivers. that's pretty good. You think, okay, we're spreading the ball around. But that's not really the case here. The case is that you've caught 7 touchdowns from 5 different quarterbacks this season. So my question to you is this: I know there's been injuries. You guys have been moving around quarterbacks and stuff like that. That's a very impressive stat, first of all. Congratulations on doing that. And I even think it's more impressive because what I wanted to ask you with is, how are you able to do this and build that chemistry with the limited time that you've had to work with the number of quarterbacks you've worked with over this season?
I mean, it's really just about like preparation and getting them used to like game situations and everything, and just trusting who's at quarterback no matter who it is. And if I'm in the right spot, it'll make things a little bit easier for them.
Now, I know, and speaking of that, like I said, I've mentioned the injuries, and we, of course, know the injuries to Lucas and to Carter, for example. And with that said, you guys have experienced the ups and downs during the season. And yet, when I see the Toros take the field, you guys are taking the field every game ready to compete at the highest level. So with that said, what can you say about Coach Kevin Doling and his staff being able to keep you guys focused and believing every week through all the ups and downs that you've experienced?
I mean, they just keep us locked in all week, and they talk a lot about consistency and trust in one another. And that mindset just keeps us together, and we're ready to go for the week.
Well, Bryton, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us on the podcast. I wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on the 4-4 record. I know you guys have had some ups and downs, but I think it speaks volumes to this team, how you guys have been able to compete through the adversity and everything else. And again, congratulations. 7 touchdowns from 5 different quarterbacks is a great stat line. So I wish you the best of luck as you finish out the last 2 games of your season.
Thank you.
And that was great having to be able to talk to Bryton Baker. And, well, if we're talking Tocoi football, there's only one more thing to do is bring in Billy the Bull. Billy, you got to be riding a high on Friday night's 23-17 victory over at Menendez.
Oh, for sure. We've had some ups and downs, but we'll take this up for sure because we needed it. It's the last 3 games of the season, and getting this one going into the next 2 is something we had to have. Ups and downs, man. It's like I was joking with you before. I'm like, do you guys get like a discount on therapy packages or something? Because you guys were been up and down, up and down. It's been crazy. I'm not even going to steal your thunder on this one, okay? Because we had the staff over here at the 32081 go into the yearbooks over at Hogwarts Wizardry Academy, and we discovered that Coach Kevin Doling actually used to teach over there the art of quarterbacking. so, and I think I know right now it's an inside joke between me and you, but why don't you tell everybody what happened this past Friday night and why I say that? It's honestly, it feels like a little bit of a movie script of what we've gone through, like the ups and downs with the quarterback carousel, our starter, and then Lucas Whitworth went down with a wrist. Then Carter Alvarez went down with a wrist, and then we have Brody Adams. Then we had Colton Ham rotating, and then within the last 3 weeks, Jacob Froelich was walking the hallways, and he used to play for us as a freshman. And he came back. He hadn't played football, but he's still been able to throw it. I think he was playing 7v7 or something because he looked good this Friday, and he came out and had a game plan. He came out he came out his first 5 throws and connected on all 5. Wow. It was, I was like, wow, we just pulled this kid out of the hallways. How does the team look? And I got to ask, I kind of talked to Bryton about that, about how Kevin has been keeping the team fired up and focused week on week. But I got to ask you from the stands, how did the team look itself? I mean, did they come out just with the confidence and like, hey, we're going to do this? Because I also got to say that looking at the score, and also I know you and I were texting on Friday night as well, the defense put in a pretty good heck of a show too. I couldn't say more superlatives on the fight that this team has continued to do and to get better each week with the adversity that's put in front of us. And it's not just with the quarterbacks. We've suffered it on the offensive line and other areas, and all the players are dinged up across all the teams. But we've suffered some injuries where they've been out for weeks, and some aren't coming back. But that fight that they've had to get better and the young kids to step up, Coach Dolan with the quarterbacks, being able to keep it simple for them, but yet effective, and making sure that we find the weapons that we had. But the defense on Friday, to me, was lights out. They only allowed 10 points. I know they scored 17, but that was off of a turnover. But Aiden Ramos, he was the same way. He played at Tocoi his freshman year. He's a big baseball player for Tocoi. And he's came back this year and has been a major addition to that defense. He that to me, that was his best game he's had all year, and he's had great games. But he got to the quarterback, I think, for his first sack, but he was all over the field. But everybody on that defense was everywhere. They kept us in it. It was 2-0 at halftime. I was making fun with other people. I was like, it's 2-0, 2-0.
Yeah, you texted me actually during that. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But once we made the change from Brody Adams to Jacob in the second quarter, I believe, and we stayed with Jacob the rest, and it was a very good momentum changer for us, and it led us into a victory at 23-17.
You know, I got to say in closing, too, with you, Billy, is that when you look at the remaining two games that you and I have talked about, that the tail end of the schedule is just really difficult, right? But when you look at, traveling to Nease this week and then also hosting Oakleaf, I'm sitting there going, this is a really good barometer, as we've kind of talked about, for the spring, where this team's at, how they believe, because they're going to come out and fight. This team is not going to lay over. They're going to go 100% against Nease, and then they're going to go 100% Oakleaf. But the one thing I'm really excited for this team, with everything they've been through, is having that game on the 31st. We'll see if it gets moved, right, with Halloween like everybody else is moving. But we'll see on that final game at home at Tocoi against Oakleaf. I think Toro Nation is going to show up for this team on that game night.
I do as well. I think that this is going to be a fun two-week stretch, because we go to Nease, and these kids have all played against each other growing up. They're all friends. So it's going to be special to watch these kids at the end of this game, no matter how the outcome ends up being, because they're going to be out there on that field for a little while, just reminiscent of the time that they've been there. But I can't get off of this phone before letting everybody know about the offensive line and what the injuries they've gone through and how they produced against Menendez, which really gives them confidence and has really helped. Telling you, we've got to start running back.
Andrew's been playing phenomenal.
254 yards rushing on Friday. I'm not sure if it's a school record, but if I had to put some money down, I'm guessing that's a school record. 254.
See, I didn't have the stats published yet, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a massive day for him, and that's what set up a lot of that passing for Jacob to be successful for us to come out with that victory. But we look forward to seeing what we put on the field this week and being able to have a good practice coming up and making sure that it's we're buttoned up. And we got some good schemes for Nease coming up this Friday, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know Nease, that jungle is going to be rocking on Friday night.
Well, I look forward to seeing you, man. We'll finally get to meet up.
I do too.
It's been about 4 or 5 weeks, I think, since I ran into you. So yeah, it'll be fun. So, all right, man. Well, listen, thanks as always for checking in with us. And like I said, we're happy for the Toros. Good to hear things are going well for them and Coach Dolan and the staff. And as always, like I said, we appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Todd. We'll see you on Friday.
And now join us on the podcast to wrap things up. Super Mario covering Bartram Trail against St. Augustine. Mario, I know you're on the road, so thank you for joining us, sir.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
So I know Bartram dropped this game to a very dominant, a very, very good St. Augustine Yellow Jackets team. The score was 34-20. But let me ask you this. We've seen this team get progressively better through the season. They're going to play Buchholz away next weekend, or this weekend, I'm sorry, and then followed up with Ribault. So what was the biggest takeaway from you with this game against the Yellow Jackets as we head into the final 2 weeks of the season?
The biggest takeaway from this was the new plays. It wasn't a stale old offense, the same lineup. The teams that have done any film study know exactly what we're going to run. So with some new plays in there, and with the dual threat, quarterback Coach Mom was really good this week. Really, really good. Got to tip my hat to him. That was the difference. And the kids were playing for a purpose and with a purpose.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because we saw that in the Nease game, right? We talked about the camaraderie, but we also saw that even with everything going on, they were playing for a purpose. They're playing hard, and they're continuing to play hard. So with that kind of attitude, I know, of course, and don't get me wrong, the goal for every week is to win the ball game. But going up against a very good Buchholz team away, what are you looking for? Obviously, I know they want to win the game, but other than that, what are some key things that you might be looking for as far as this team, seeing how they're going to finish out the season, but also for the underclassmen that are stepping up and getting ready to go into spring and next season?
The main thing I think they're playing for is pride. that's one of the things that Bartram has always been known for, pride. In the midst of everything that's still going on, they're still going out there, and almost everyone I spoke to said, "Oh, this is a gimme game for St. Albans." But Bartram, the score is not indicative of what the
I agree.
Game was. I mean, it was much closer. A couple of mistakes here and there, that happens. But, I mean, the kids are playing. It's self-pride and pride for the Bartram Blue.
Last but not least, before I let you go real quick, when you look at some of these underclassmen that are playing, for example, like Peterson, who's playing with Baum at quarterback and they're splitting reps and stuff, what is your viewpoint of some of these underclassmen and the future of Bartram Trails football next year and a couple years beyond that?
I'm going to be brutally honest. I think the school needs to really reach out to the kids and see what it is. Mm-hmm. It's not always about the coaching and what the coach wants. Sometimes it's what the kids need.
Mm-hmm.
And these underclassmen that are coming up to be juniors and seniors, they're looking for leadership. And I think that's the one thing they're not getting right now. And they're finding leadership within themselves.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I totally agree with you because we definitely saw it in the last couple of weeks where the athleticism's there, and you're right.
Yes.
And they're just looking for the leadership. So that's a great point you make.
I totally believe in leadership. And I think once the kids get that leadership, the guidance, it'll be Bartram of old with the new kids. And I think the kids that are coming out from middle school, I mean, this is a great crop of kids that are coming from the middle school, going out there, seeing how they play, refereeing their games. It's a great group of kids that are coming in, and they really do need that leadership.
Well, Mario, it'll be interesting to see how they do the final 2 weeks of the season, and we will catch you after the Buchholz game. And don't forget what I told you about going down to Buchholz now. The home side is on the visitor side, and the visitor side is the home side. I'm telling you, it's Stranger Things upside down world. I'm just telling you right now, okay?
So make sure that I go on the right side. Correct?
That's what I'm saying, because you're going to walk over there and you're going to think, okay, listen, I'm on the visitor side. And you're going to look up and you're going, no, these people are all wearing black and gold. They're not wearing blue. We're on the home side. Okay. Yeah. And it doesn't matter because there's two press boxes too, just to let you know. So I can't tell you you're on the press box side because there's two of them.
There's two of them.
All right,
okay.
Sir. Well, listen, you be safe driving. Thank you for joining us on your travels, and we will catch you next week after Bartram takes on Buchholz.
All right. I'll see you there and talk to you there.
And if you're wondering about the Creekside update, Mike the Knight was unable to join us for this episode. However, the Knights did drop their contest against Reigns 51-3. Your schedule for this week. Bartram will travel to Buchholz on Thursday. Beachside is headed across the Buckman Bridge to take on Orange Park. Nease will host Tocoi on Friday. Ponte Vedra is welcoming IMG to the tank. St. Augustine is headed to Ridgeview. And Creekside is enjoying a well-deserved bye week. For Super Mario, Kuda Mike, Billy the Bull, Jossam James, Mike the Knight, Abigail and Rob, as well as our special guests, Kyle Hurtado from Nease and Bryton Baker from Tocoi, I'm the Todd, and thank you for listening to the 32081 Scoreboard Show.
Thank you for listening to the 32081. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Please don't forget to subscribe to the show so you can join us for the next episode.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
Until next time, take care.